had an opportunity to reflect. You still must have been quite pleased, really, with last week's performance.
Yeah, the attitude more than anything. I think with the group of players we had a lot of youngsters on that field, and especially in the closing periods, we only had a couple of handful of players who were like experienced in age and appearances for the Ospreys. There was a number of boys on that field who only had like 5 appearances or less. So it was a great opportunity for us to see those boys and expose them to the pressures in and around this environment, and to see that they stood up to the pressure, and in the end it proved valuable for us.
So Wasps this weekend, how much of a challenge are you expecting up there?
Well, we prep week in, week out that every game we go to is going to be a big challenge, and Wasps is going to be no different. You know, they've got a strong squad, strength in depth throughout. So I'm sure they're going to field a very strong team. And you know, from going from the last round, you know, when they went into Exeter and got a loss, I think they'd be going back home wanting to set things right for them, especially going into the Prem the following week. I think they might be wanting to bounce back. But for us, we're just going to go up with the same mindset, looking to improve and go forward going next week.
Do you expect them to feel a sort of a Viva Premiership side? Virtually?
I don't know. You know, it's their selection is their selection, but we can only focus on ourselves from that point. You know, we got what we got, and from last week's week, there's a lot of boys who put in some decent performances in a good shift. And you know, they put their hands up for selection, so hopefully our squad's going to get stronger from these experiences within these games, and we're going to be building forward from there.
And this week, will you be sort of having one eye on the Zebra game, which is only 5 days later, in terms of your selection?
There is a short turnaround. I'm not gonna lie there, but for us, we focusing on one game at a time. From my perspective, we'll be focusing around this Wasps game because we need to get things right for that week. You know, it's a big game. We still got an opportunity within this competition, and we're going to pay service to every game that we play in an Ospreys jersey, especially for those players. I think you can't have one eye leading somewhere else, knowing that there's a game in front of you where there's going to be a quality outfit put out there. And if we do that, then you could get sent over the tail between your legs. So for us, it's more about making sure that we turn up, taking every game as it comes, because we just want to represent that Ospreys jersey.
As a coaching group, you know, you must have been quite encouraged by Dan Suter's little cameo. I know you're a backs coach, but as a coaching group, he came on and locked out the scrum.
Yeah, no, Dan's done a great job for us. He's done a great job for us in around the British Irish Cup as well, so he deserves his opportunities. So, you know, from my perspective, coming through the British Irish Cup coaching as well with me and Tom Smith, you know, we've seen Dan putting in some good performances, and like you said, he's deserved his opportunity.
And tell me what you thought, Rich, of Craig Baker's effort. He was up against Tom Varndell, which is a bit of a test. Could you sort of say how you assess that?
Jay's a role player, and he's a talented player as well, and he's keen to learn. And putting him in these kind of scenarios within this cup, these competitions, is only going to improve him. So the quality of opposition he gets up against is going to expose him more to different aspects of his game, and for him to develop, he needs to be put in these positions. So I think it's only going to be great and a positive outcome for him.
Do you see him playing Pro 12 rugby by the end of the season, or might we have to wait till next season?
Well, that's not for me to determine, but you know.
But in terms of his development,
he's a quality player and he's developing all the time. You know, and if he keeps going the way he's going, he's putting his hand up, and then it's only up to the coaches in the round end. If he makes enough of a statement, then I'm sure he might get an opportunity somewhere.
Who else are you pleased with? Joe Thomas?
Yeah, no, Joe Thomas is doing well. He's coming through the ranks. You know, there's a lot of youngsters in our group, especially like forwards and backs particularly. You know, we got like the likes of James Ratty, who put in a good performance on the weekend. We've got Matthew Aubrey coming in off the bench. We've got Luke Price at 10, another youngster. Joe Tom Flaherty. There's quite a number of players we could name here. So you know, for this group of players, like I said, there's quite a lot within there. We're young and not so much experienced within an Osprey jersey. So it's good for those guys to get that exposure.
Do you feel that Luke, if you've got injury problems, might be ready to step up to the programme?
I think, you know, it's up to him to determine. You know, he's got the opportunity now to put the Ospreys jersey on with the other guys away, and I think it's a big opportunity, like I said, opportunity for him to put his hand up and make sure that he takes it. You know, it's up to him to make sure that he delivers what we go through in training and transfer it onto the field, and then if he does, then it's all down to selection choices.
No news on Keelan?
Beg your pardon?
There's no news on Keelan, is there?
No, not yet. No news.
Right. Okay.
With regards to selection, selection, when you see sort of a big defeat for the Wasps like we did last week, how do you know what side to field? Sort of what your thinking is? They're going to field or how?
No, you don't. You don't know what they're going to field, and for us, that's not part of the challenge. More for us is doing about, like I said, these competitions are great for developing young talent, but also with a mixture of experienced Ospreys. So to get those boys within this environment, because for us it's about building, developing, and like I said, we put ourselves in a really good position here to possibly go through to the next round. So for us it's going to be about developing, but also putting in a performance on the weekend.
So you're not sort of doing head on head like who they might be up against. It's not like that when it comes to selection? Or?
No, it wouldn't be like that, but you need to know your opposition, so we'll do our analysis throughout the week. So the players would need to know the opposition, and there will be a variety coming from the Wasps camp. So it wouldn't be, because of this selection we go for this player. It'd be a group of players we have at the moment. We're inward focused on ourselves, just making sure that we are ready to perform on the weekend.
How big a win would it be for you if you were to go to the Ricoh Arena this weekend?
It'd be great for the group. Like I said, we've had some challenging opposition in the last couple of rounds, especially with these young group in around the B&I, going away to London Irish. They haven't lost in a number of games, and for that group to put in the performance the way they did, a lot of grit, resolve, and to get out with a win was really fantastic. And the same effort was against Bristol. So it's just building for these boys, just making sure now that we continue building on that path, and hopefully, we never know, we see what happens with the result.
And with the likes of Joby and John Spratt, they're obviously getting their 100th cap. You played with them. How do you find coaching them? Do you coach them? Do you give them?
I do coach them. It's a little bit of a difference in transition, I'll be honest with you. But I think when you cross that line onto the field, you have to be a little bit. Well, they know as well from a playing perspective, from a coach's perspective. You just have to be professional and do your job. And they respect that, and I respect their positions. They respect my position, and we just get on with it because we know we're here to do a job.
Are you likely to choose a few more first teamers, given that you are going back into league action a few days later?
That is yet to be decided. It's just, I think it's selection will come later on in the week. At this moment, we're more preparing about the squad, getting all the detail right. So for us as a team, we just want to get the detail right in the first section of the week, and just making sure everyone's prepped, ready to go, from the experience down to the youngsters. Everyone's on the same page.